is Meg Tucker. I'm the programs manager here at the Bryan Museum, and it is my pleasure this afternoon to introduce our speaker, actor, and musician for today's program. Naomi Carrier is the founder of the Emancipation Trail Association, the founding director of the Texas Center for African American Living History. She is a historian, an educator, a playwright, a composer, and author of Go Down Old Hannah, The Living History of African American Texans, which we just sold out of over here. Naomi conducted extensive research for the Emancipation National Historic Trail and is working with the Houston Park Board to develop historical interpretation for McGregor's Park's renovation. She recently dedicated the Untold Stories historical marker for the 16,000 United States colored troops who protected the Mexican border following the last battle of the Civil War in Texas at Palmetto Ranch Battlefield in 1865. Carrier's 160th anniversary of Juneteenth performances include more than this one. She's also performing at the Ensemble Theater Houston, Houston's Freedom Town Conservancy, Sam Houston Park, and the Mitchell Museum in Lavaca County. Please join me in welcoming Naomi Carrier.
I am so pleased to be here on the island. I was here for Juneteenth in 2002, and now that it's 2025, it's a world of difference in now and then. And so I feel especially honored to have been able to be here for this date in this time in American history. So thank you for being here. I want to thank, you should give yourselves a hand, because whatever you sacrifice to be here, you're here, and I appreciate that. I also appreciate Meg Tucker, who invited me, I think as far back as, was it October or November? So I've had this on my calendar for a while. And your program has evolved over those days and weeks and months. And I'm like, okay, well, what am I going to do? It's the 160th. But I really do appreciate having met J.P. Bryan, who is the founder of this museum. I met him at the Texas State Historical Association conference in Houston. So I've had a little bit of time to decide what I was going to do for you today, and I'm happy to do that. How do you all feel about singing today? Yeah, you think I'm going to be the only one to sing today? Well, what I want to tell you is that my late husband, Eugene Carrier, worked at the B.B. King Band as his keyboardist for 10 years. But what he taught me was that success is when preparation meets opportunity. If you have preparation, no opportunity. If you have opportunity and no preparation. You with me, sister? I see you shaking your head. So, we were always planning and hoping for freedom. We didn't know anything about emancipation. That's just a word, kind of like integration. Who? So, we were always wishing and hoping and praying for freedom. And whenever that occurred, it was going to be the day of the Jubilee. While we didn't know when it was going to happen, we knew that we wanted to be ready. I want to be ready, I want to be ready, I want to be ready to walk in Jerusalem just like John. Hear me clearly, I want to be ready, I want to be ready I want to be ready to walk in Jerusalem just like John. Can you sing that with me? You want to be ready, don't you? I want to be ready. I want to be ready. I want to be ready to walk in Jerusalem just like John. One more time. Come on now, you got it. Don't be ashamed. I want to be ready. I want to be ready to walk in Jerusalem just like John. One of the first reasons that people knew Africans who were called barbarians during the process of enslavement, one of the reasons people knew that they were intelligent was because of their music. Listen to those field slaves out there. Are they singing? You better believe they were singing. And a lot of the songs that they sang had hidden messages like "This Train," because there was an underground railroad that we're still trying to figure out. It was a secret initiative. There's a lot of things about it we still don't know. Like we don't even know the messages in the song. But "This Train" is one of the Underground Railroad's songs that I taught my children at St. James School. And it carried the message that, did you want to go to glory? This train is going to glory, this train. This train is going to glory, this train. This train ain't slowing down. This train ain't messing around. This train is going to glory, this train. Come on now. This train is going to glory, this train. Come on, that's easy, easy. This train is going to glory, this train. I can't hear you. This train ain't messing around. This train ain't slowing down. This train is going to glory, this train. And the next song that I want to sing to you is a war song because we participated in the war. We participated on the side of the Confederacy. Willingly or unwillingly, we were enslaved. And we participated on the side of the Union. That was the subject of some of the meetings that Frederick Douglass had with Abraham Lincoln to bring African Americans, who were not called African Americans until the 1980s. I'm not really fond of saying African Americans. I just say black. I'm black. I'm blackety black. So we sang this song about Joshua fought the Battle of Jericho. Joshua fought the Battle of Jericho, Jericho, Jericho. Joshua fought the Battle of Jericho, and the walls came tumbling down. Up to the walls of Jericho, he marched with his spear in hand. Bow blowed him rammed hard, Joshua said, "'Cause the battle am in my hand." Joshua fought the Battle of Jericho, Jericho, Jericho. Joshua fought the Battle of Jericho, and the walls came tumbling down. But the war didn't last forever. And at some point, we had a chance to lay down our sword and shield. Down by the riverside. Gonna lay down my sword and shield. Down by the riverside. Come on now. Down by the riverside. Down by the riverside. Gonna lay down my sword and shield. Down by the riverside and study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no actually therapeutic. Me and my mama, we used to sing every day. That's why I didn't learn how to cook, because I was busy. I was busy playing the piano for my mother while she was cooking our family's meal. But one of the pride and joy occasions of my life has been the opportunity to composed the musical I Am Annie Mae with Ruth Weingarten. And if you don't know who Ruth Weingarten is, she is the foremost Texas women's historian. She's done the Jewish women, the Hispanic women, Ann Richards, the Black women. She has done women. So when we did the musical, it premiered in 1987 at the Mary Moody Northern Theater, and that was my first notice of Mary Moody Northern, who is from here because she was the daughter of the Moody family, the rich millionaire who cared so much about the arts and who did so much to install theaters on the campuses of universities, in this case at St. Edward's University. That musical now played almost every major university in the state of Texas. We went all over the country, from Atlanta to Reno, Nevada, to Flagstaff, Arizona, to Milwaukee. And now I am told that it is archived at the Smithsonian yes. But the woman, Annie Mae McDade Prosper Hunt, was the subject of Ruth Weingarten's oral history. And when I met Ruth in 1984, I really didn't know what an oral history was. That term was not familiar to me. There are two things I learned. I learned about an oral history, and I also learned about living history, and that living history theater is a genre, just like poetry is a genre. But one of the songs in the musical, in fact, the finale, is Once a Year. And Juneteenth comes only once a year. So I'm going to do that for you now. I'm going back to the country, back where I was born. Come go with me back down home. I'm going back to the country, back where I was born. Come go with me back down home. Once a year the people comes together. Once a year the people come back down home. I'm going back down home to my place in the country. Gotta get on back to Goodwill Church. Once a year the people comes together. Once a year the people come back down home. I'm going back down home to my place in the country. Gotta get on back to Goodwill Church. Oh, it's a beautiful sight to see. Family coming together, having all that good food, barbecue, sheep, goat y'all, hot links, tater pie, peach cobbler, and we would have church. Guide me, O thou great Jehovah, pilgrim through this barren land. Bread of heaven, feed me until I want no more. Bread of heaven, bread of heaven, feed me until I want no country, back where I was born. Come go with me back down home. Once a year the people clap your hands together. Once a year the people come back down home. I'm going back down home to my place in the country. Gotta get on back. Gotta get on back. Gotta get on back to good will In the evolution of your program, I decided that I have to work with that with which I'm most familiar, and that is working women. Annie Mae McDade Prosper Hunt was a working woman. Um, Sarah Ford was an enslaved woman. Ella Mae was the wife and mother of a man who had been convicted during the period of convict leasing. So she too was a working woman. And by the way, I am Naomi Jean. And Naomi Jean is a working woman. People say, well, Naomi Jean, have you retired? Retired? How can I possibly retire with what's going on in America today? No, I'm not retired. But these women, all of them who worked, were very passionate about keeping their families together and taking care of their children, whether they had a man or not, or whether their man was with them or not. And I can relate to that because my husband worked on the road with the B.B. King Band for 10 years, and I was there taking care of the children. So we worked and we took care of those children. I've been working. This was the signature ballad of the musical I Am Anime. And doing and going and giving, and all I'm doing ain't doing no good. I've been working and doing and going and giving, and all I'm doing ain't doing no good. I'm giving out. I've done my best. Still doing all I can. I lost my child, my mama too. I even lost my man. And what I make of my life, only I can understand. Why I'm working and hoping and giving and living, and all my living in vain, in vain. Yes, I'm hoping and wishing and praying and giving, and all I got is my name. And so what I learned from Annie Mae, the book, um, which the musical was so popular, it helped the book get published again. I'm really Proud of that. But she didn't say, my name is Annie Mae. I am Annie Mae. And that was the title of the book and the musical, I Am Annie Mae. And so when I was busy teaching my children at St. James Episcopal School, uh, I would teach them to say, I am whoever you are. So I wrote this song, Say Your Name, for the closing, to dedicate to my children, to hopefully, if they didn't remember anything else about me, that, by the way, Beyonce was one of my students too. Most people enjoy knowing that. Um, your name and your voice is important. The way you say your name will determine whether someone remembers it. You know, if I say my name like this, nobody's going to remember that. I am whoever you are. And so those of you who have children in your environment, your nieces, nephews, grandkids, whatever, help them to say that I am, because you want them to be able to establish their identity. And so each one of the students that I taught, I felt like they were my flowers. The flowers that bloom in my garden are from seed that grow into autumn. Looking up to the sky, saying hi to the sun. You are one of my flowers. Say your name. Son and daughters, you are heir to greatness. You've been here longer than lately. Made from a pattern of a master. You are one of a kind that comes into you. Are my flowers. The flowers that bloom in my garden become seed that we plant in spring, saying bye to the moon. See you soon in my dreams. It seems you and me are forever. Mine is the name of my grandpa's father. Came here enslaved in chains from Africa to Lavaka. Somewhere he became a name. I am here to tell the story from when then until now. Tell you how the glory from where we came says our name. Say your name. Say your name. Say your name. Now I'm going to tell y'all about the plantation where I was born. Y'all know where West Columbia is at? Don't nobody seem to know where West Columbia is at. Well, right there at Massa Kit Patton's plantation is where I was born. They calls it the Hogg Place now because it belongs to the children of Governor Will Hogg. Mama and Papa both belong to Massa Kit. Mama born there too. Her name was Lil Jane because she wasn't no bigger than nothing. But Papa's name was Mike. He was a tanner, come from Tennessee, sold to Massa Kit by a nigger trader. Mama told me lots of things when I was growing up. She said the white folks who had owned field slaves wouldn't let them marry none. They'd just take a man and a breeding woman and put them together like mules. And if the woman didn't like the man, it didn't make no difference. She better go. She better go or they gives her a hiding. Now, Massa Kit had two brothers. He had Massa Charles, and then he had Massa Matt, what lived in West Columbia. Now, Massa Kit had an African woman from Kentucky for his wife. I ain't saying if she's a real wife or not, but all the slaves had to call her Miss Rachel. And if a bird fly up in the sky, one day it must come down. And Rachel just like that bird. Because Massa Kit go crazy and die. And Massa Charles take over the plantation. Massa Charles about like all people who own slaves. Some good, some bad. Oh, we had plenty of food to eat. More than I has now. And we had enough clothes. That's the good part. But Uncle Big Jake, the overseer, he was black like the rest of us. Liked to whoop the slaves so much. Was always whooping them what had spirit like my papa. That's why he was always running away. And that's the bad part of Master Charles because he let Uncle Big Jake whoop the slaves so much. And then after they would whoop them, they would put the hot grease on their wounds. Yeah. When freedom come, I didn't know what that was. Till Uncle Charlie Burns, what drive the buggy for Master Charles, come running out in the yard hollering, everybody free, everybody free. And then later on, the soldiers comes and the captain and the slaves come running up out of the field. We all gather around the can't see tree because that's where Master Charles would always have us together when he had something to say. And that's one time he couldn't open his mouth because the captain tell him to shut up, that he would do the talking. And the captain reads a nation and he says, I come to tell you that the slaves are free and they don't have to call nobody master no more. Well, us just kind of mill around like cattle do. And then Master Charles say, all y'all what wants to stay, I'll pay you. All except you, he say to my papa. You can't stay here because you is a bad influence. So Papa left. And he come back with a wagon and mules, what he borrows. Load my mama in and me and my sister, and we all moves to East Columbia on the Brazzers. and they hired me out. That's the first time I ever seen any money. And we had our own patch too. Papa built us a barn and a corn crib. Us was sure happy, 'cause the bright light had done come and there was no more whoopings. Me and my mama and my grandma, we worked over 100 years for the Paxtons. That's 3 generations of us black women's blood, sweat, and tears. They ain't never caused nothing but hell on either end. The front end, nor the back end. Now old man Paxton's want me to send Jessie Mae over here so as he can run his hand up her dress and feel on her butt like he used to do me. I got news for that sucker. I'll soon as go upside his head with my iron skillet before I let him rape my little girl. Told Jessie Mae, don't be coming up here around this house while I'm working, asking me nothing. You wait till I come home. That's just one of my troubles. Henry been gone nearly 3 years, and they's working him to death on that there prison farm. All them men's and a few women's sweating like hogs in the hot as hell sun. They's either cutting and hauling cane or picking and cotton, because them mean old bosses moves them from farm to farm where it's needed. We never know where he is, even if we could go and see him. I got to take care of these children. See, me and Henry reasoned that if we had more kids, we could make more money, because that's the way the sharecropping system works. It's like they wants to work the whole family. I hear that 7 is the number of completion. It sure is. 1 almost every year from the time I was 15. Lord, that ain't funny, because now I is 27 years old with 7 mouths to feed and no man. Jake and Sanders, our 2 oldest boys, is able to bring in some little money. These jealous white folk don't want to see a nigga with nothing. We come here with nothing, we get nothing while here, and we don't leave with shit. I promised the Lord I was going to quit cussing. I'm nearly about working my ass to death and still ain't through. Oh, Miss Sally stood right there in that back door and saw me lug 5 5-gallon buckets of water up to that back porch for her to take a bath. The sun was already going down, and I had done been here since it come up. Now, if that ain't what you call a slave, then what is? That Emancipation Proclamation, or whatever they calls it, ain't nothing but one big ass lie. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom over me. And before I be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. I learned that song from my grandma. I heard my mama singing it too. And here I is still singing it. Lord, wherever my dear Henry is, would you please let him know that we ain't forgot how much he loved us and how hard he worked to try to take care of us, keep us together. Tell him, Lord, that you is the only one who can set him free. You can set the captives free. And lastly, dear Father, help him to know that we're still waiting. Even if it have been 3 years, we're waiting on our daddy to come home. And
Got a been on the river in 1910.
I'm on the street slipping and sliding on ice. Been cleaning folks' kitchens all of my life. Stand here shivering through and through. Got to put heavy socks on over my shoes. Well, it's cold to me, and that's all I know. Woman, this housework gotta go. Well, I'm standing up here in all of this cold, waiting on a bus that's running late. Believe this waiting's gonna have to wait. I can't take this cold no more. Well, it's cold to me, and that's all I know. Woman, this housework's gotta go. Well, I'm shivering, shivering cold. I just can't hold my teeth. I'm shivering, shivering so my mind starts talking to me. Starts talking to me. Do I have to keep doing this? I'm doing housework for $5 a day, as good as I can sew. Standing here waiting on a bus that's late, which I won't do no more. Well, I can sell Avon and make a way, I know. Woman, this housework's got to go. There's cooking and cleaning and washing and ironing, scrubbing and slipping and sliding and raining and hanging. Woman, this housework has got to go. Freezing day at the bus stop. I come on home, called my Avon representative and told her I needed me some more supplies. Because I could sell $800 or $900 worth of Avon in 3 weeks' time. Of course, I'd only get 40% of that. That was my commission. But some months I made better than $300. That was money then. That wasn't no drop in the bucket. And I walked up on Bell Street and had this man to make me a dressmaking sign, put that in my front yard. And from then on, in many a year, I supported myself and my children by sewing and selling Avon. No more clean kitchens for me, $5 a day. Clean a stove, a bad stove. And after my sewing business got going good, I could finally afford to buy myself an electric sewing machine. You know, speaking of sewing machines, that reminds me of a little tragedy we met on a Navasota plantation in Grimes County. Grimes County, honey. Must have been 1922. Oh, I'll never forget it as long as I live. That was just like slavery times. It really was. We all worked the fields down there from sun up to sundown. Well, one Saturday, my mama was making me and my sister some school clothes on her old-fashioned treadle sewing machine. And she had bought this machine secondhand from boss man Martin, the man who owned the plantation. And my stepdaddy was out back talking to two of his friends about a black man over in Washington County that had been lynched for trying to vote. He was planning on having a meeting to see what they could do about it. Meanwhile, here come Boss Man Martin running up in our yard, banging on the front door, telling Mama that he come to pick up the sewing machine because she was behind in the payments. When Stepdaddy heard all that racket, he come around in front to see what was going on, and Boss Man Martin told him, "Look here, Wilson, I come to pick up that sewing machine. I need you to put it in the back of my wagon." And Stepdaddy say, "No, you can't have that machine. You charge us too much for that piece of junk anyway, and we paying for it as fast as we can." Boss Man Martin told him, "Look here, Wilson, I don't take nothing off of you niggers." And Stepdaddy said, "I don't take nothing off white folk neither." Well, that made Boss Man Martin mad. He come on down out the house and told my daddy, "You'll be sorry for this, Wilson. I'll be back." Well, about 5:30 that evening, old man Kurt, the overseer, now he was a friend of my stepdaddy. He come by and he told him, he said, "Now, Wilson, I know you didn't mean to sass Boss Man Martin, but Martin and his buddies, they're going to come out here tonight and they're going to whoop you up. You better not stay home tonight." So my stepdaddy decided that he wasn't going to take no whoop. He laid down in the branch until he seen 2 cars drive by our house with 5 men in them. When he saw them men, he knew they was the Ku Klux Klan because they was riding high in Texas in that time. He don't know how, but he got down to that Brazos River and he crossed it. Then about 10:30 that night, here come them men running up in the yard, banging on the front door, telling my mama, "Get on out here, Callie." And Mama said, "Coming out there." Of course, we just stood still because that was all we had left was Mama. We were shaking like little leaves on the tree when the wind is going through. Old men, they broke into our house, pushed my mama around, pushed up against the wall and told her, "You better get that nigger back." And Mama didn't know what to do. This man Martin grabbed Mama, pushed her out the door and off the porch, and she stumbled. He told her, "Get up, gal." And when she got up, he pushed her on out the gate and out to the car, and then he slapped her 3-4 times. And you know, he whooped her with Bud Jones holding her. My mama couldn't walk for 13 weeks. He broke my arm too. I still got trouble with it right today. Boss Man Martin broke my sister's nose with a pistol. And by it being broken open, it made it grow funny. Oh, that was bad times. Lay me down low and rest my mind. Lay me down low and rest my mind. I am tired, Lord. Only you know. Spare me a moment of peace. Give me time to be me. What am I that I must work night and day? I wish that I could sprout wings and fly away. Lay me down, Lord, and rest my mind. Lay me down, Lord, and rest my mind. I need time, Lord. Well, things was bad for us in them days. And my grandpa liked to recollect what it was like back when we had black leaders in state government, like Reverend Matt Gaines. Reverend Gaines was from Washington County, spoke out for free public schools for black children and white children alike, sure did. And it was owing to some of his legislation that got Prairie View College established on the Alta Vista Plantation in 1876. Mm-hmm. My grandpa said he remember when they used to load up a bunch of black people in the back of the truck and take them to town and tell them who to vote for. Of course, that would only be in the general election because we had a white primary and blacks was not allowed to vote until the NAACP filed suit and put an end to it with the Supreme Court in 1966. Now, that's been in my time. Jimmy Carter was elected in 1976. I decided I was going to the Democratic inauguration. I had worked behind the scenes all those years, and it was because of that terrible tragedy on that Navasota plantation that I first got involved in politics. And I said, I'm going to that Democratic inauguration. And I called my junior congressman and told him I need me a ticket. He says, Annie Mae, button up your shoes and get off my front door steps. You is on your way to Washington. I'm coming up from Texas. I'm riding a Greyhound bus. I'm coming up from Texas. I'm riding a Greyhound bus. On my way up to the White House. Yes, ma'am, I'm leaving town. I have got my ticket. You know I'm D.C. bound. I have got my ticket. You know I'm D.C. bound. On my way up to the White House. Yes, ma'am, I'm leaving town. All my friends thought I was crazy going up there in the wintertime on the Greyhound bus. I didn't have nobody to go with me, so I got on the bus and went by myself because he was my president and this is my country. I'm coming up from down south. I'm going to that parade. I'm coming up from down south. I'm going to that parade. I can't wait, can't be late for that inauguration day. I'm Naomi Jean now. People ask me, where am I from? Well, that depends. I was born in the Rio Grande Valley in San Benito. Yes, I've been there a couple of times this year, and I grew up in Wichita Falls, Texas. It's 600 miles one way from the Rio Grande to the Red River. Somebody's shaking their head like, yeah, I know, it's a long way. And by the time I was 6 years old, my father had taught me how to read a road map because he was tired of me saying, are we there yet? So I really appreciate the homeschooling I got from my parents, my mother who uh, taught me to read and gave me my first piano lessons, my father who taught me how to drive and how to use a typewriter. So I would like to think that my childhood was enriched and prepared me to do many of the things that I do now. But one spring break, I was asked to return to Wichita Falls and to work with the children at the Boys and Girls Club. And so I wrote a musical for them, and it was entitled Wichita Falls. Wichita Falls, where is that? Wichita Falls, is that Kansas? Is where I'm from, my hometown, Wichita Falls. Up north central Texas, dry winds and red clay. South of where the red Wichita rivers lay, where east central railroads hauling jet black coal through wind, rain, and sunshine and freezing snow. I'm telling y'all about the falls, Wichita Falls. I grew up on the east side, deep in leopard land. Using rules and family help you understand. It seemed our dreams would come true if we just integrate. So we gave in and worked hard just to fill our plate. I am telling y'all about the falls, Wichita Falls. Wichita Falls, where is that? Wichita Falls, is that Kansas? It's where I'm from, my hometown, Wichita Falls. It's a name for the red men who roam the open plains, fished in the river and left us their name. The infamous tribe who came and died don't exist no more. War-painted hero hunted buffalo. I am telling y'all about the falls, Wichita Falls. Where am I from, y'all? Wichita Falls, don't you forget it. Where is that? Wichita Falls. Is that Kansas? Is where I'm from, my hometown, Wichita Falls. Well, thanks to Meg, who did read this from my little bio. I returned to the Rio Grande Valley in 2015 for the inauguration of the Rio Grande Valley Civil War Trail. And because I made D's, D as in dog D, in my American history classes at the University of North Texas. I'm like, D's? I ain't never made no D's before. I asked too many questions about the Civil War. Well, it was divided into two courses. The first course was from 1492 to the end of the Civil War, and we never got there. And then the second course picks up after the Civil War is over, beginning with, yeah, you got some people in here who can relate to that. So I'm saying there's something about this Civil War that my professors don't want me to know. And I'm going to have to find out for myself. And so I embarked upon what now has become a 55-year journey to learn as much as I can about the Civil War. So in 2015, when I returned to the Rio Grande Valley for the inauguration of the Rio Grande Valley Civil War Trail, because we have a few trails. We've got the Forest Trail in Northeast, we've got the Lakes Trail, we've got the Forts Trail in West Texas, and now we have the Civil War Trail. But I learned that the last battle of the Civil War was fought in Texas. There are a lot of people who don't know that. Like there are a lot of people who don't know that there was an underground railroad from Texas to Mexico. Um, House Concurrent Resolution 245 was legislated by the 77th Texas Legislature to recognize the Underground Railroad from Texas to Mexico, and I did write that narrative. But then when I learned about the Civil War and its last battle in Texas, I learned that there were 16,000 able-bodied young black men who participated in that battle and following the battle, protecting the border of the Civil War, the Mexican border, to keep the Confederacy from taking the war down south. I'm going to tell you, when you can handle it, right? By the time the black people was freed in Texas, Abraham Lincoln had already been assassinated. And people will say, well, the reason the black slaves were emancipated so late was because they didn't know. They knew there was another crop of cotton in the ground. It was June. You can't harvest cotton until August and September. So why was it 2.5 years later? It was because of the importance of the enslaved people to the economic development of Texas, including the agricultural crops, particularly of cotton and sugar. And so, because there was no historical marker for the United States colored troops who participated in that last battle, this year, on April 12th, 2025, I, Naomi Jean, dedicated that historical marker in the Rio Grande Valley. Thank you. And so I will say to each of you, after I thank you one more time for being here, for being patient with me, and I hope for learning something today, or if you didn't learn anything and you heard it again, that you will take with you and you will share with someone else. I just want to say that each one of us, whatever our DNA reveals, I've never had mine done. I don't need my DNA done. I already know who I am. I am Naomi Jean. But we have been born for this time. We weren't born in the 20s, the 1920s, or the 1820s, or whenever. And so, with your name and your voice, I hope that you will use your name and your voice to make a difference. One of my favorite songs that I taught my kids at St. James School was God Bless America. because I taught them the political songs. I want you to sing it with me. Is that okay? God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night. Again, through the night, through the night, through the night with the light from above, from the mountains, from the mount to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God. Thank you.